Well, first off, I want to say thank you to Faithbridge Church for inviting me here today. It was great to get that phone call from Aaron. He always looks to me for everything. He needs a lot, so he calls me a lot. A little history behind our friendship. I went to culinary school, and my first job out of school was at Wanawak in Park Rapids. So I lived here. My wife and I and our kids drove, that trip from DL to here, and I just felt my heart start to melt while it snowed, by the way. How much I missed this community and how much it meant to me. When I got here, I immediately started teaching Aaron how to fish. He improved greatly. Ask him for pictures, he'll show you, I'm sure, on that. No, but I thank Aaron for giving me a call and giving me an opportunity. I spoke with somebody right after the first message, and I don't always do as well as I should on the evangelism part. I don't do great at the grocery store conversations or the gas pump or that. But I do try to live my life in a way that shows Jesus' light. So as I prepared for this message, it brought me to Luke 33, and it says, "No one, after lighting a lamp, puts it in a cellar or under a basket, but on a stand, so that those who enter may see the light." So a little bit about me, myself. I grew up in southwestern Minnesota in a small community, Canby, Minnesota. Does anybody know where Canby is? Great. Yay. My dad is a farmer. My mom was a florist, and grew up like a fairly traditional Lutheran kid. Went to all the Sunday school stuff and got confirmed, and my parents taught Sunday school, and did that whole thing, and I think they did the best that they could and they can. But I say this with a little bit of sadness. I don't believe I grew up in a Christian home. Knowing what I know now and who Jesus is and what he does for us. They did the absolute best they can. From there, I went to culinary school, like I said, worked at Wanawak, and then now my wife and two boys, we live near Breckenridge, Wahpeton, and I'm a culinary arts instructor at the college in Wahpeton. So I got to know Aaron through work. He was kind of a pastry chef. I wasn't quite sure what he did there, but usually there was flour and butter around, so we called him that. And I had an opportunity really to get to know Aaron very well through that process, and it was great because I really felt like he mentored me in my career path. I honestly don't believe I would be where I am today without his guidance. He's continued to mentor me in my walk with faith. Many times I'll give him a call if something comes up, and I have an opportunity to bounce some of those ideas off of him. And through this entire journey that I've been on, it really opened my eyes to me as a young person and knowing about God. And then as I accepted Jesus as my Lord and Savior, there is a difference between knowing about God and knowing God. Knowing that he is in you changes everything. Changes everything. So this morning, what I'm really I want to introduce you to a couple of people. Ben and Christelle. So Ben was one of my greatest friends through high school. We grew up together. I think back, we went to his birthday party. We snuck out. We went trick-or-treating. We did all the stuff, stupid stuff that friends do. The beautiful young lady next to Ben is my wife's best friend. So we played matchmaker. We brought those two together. And Christelle is a wonderful Christian woman. They kind of liked each other, and they ended up getting engaged and getting married, which we kind of took a little credit for that, But through that process, she led Ben to Christ, and we're so thankful for that. So this is November 5th, 2004, and this is Ben and Christelle's wedding. These are all of my best friends that I've had. When Aaron talks about being comfortable, I was 24 years old. I was comfortable. We were pre-kids, so I was pretty relaxed too. So, but we were comfortable. This night, I can't imagine being more comfortable. These, I call them 7 idiots. We were all together that night. It was one of the funnest times. Best of friends. Fast forward about a year and a week, and I love pheasant hunting. Again, I grew up in southwestern Minnesota. We had an opportunity. I think I snuck out of work or did something. Went pheasant hunting, and I got a phone call. And it was CJ, my best friend, and he said, Ben's dead. And I said, no. Yeah, he can't be dead. We're going hunting tomorrow. This can't be. And through Ben and Christelle's relationship, they started to plan for the future. If you think about meeting somebody, you plan to where you're going to go and what you're going to do. And Ben took a job at a wind tower company down in southwestern Minnesota. There's a lot of wind towers, and it was an opportunity for them to get their finances in order for Christelle to be able to go to college. Ben was working on a wind tower, and there was a fire. And on November 11th, Ben fell 200 feet to his death. I went from a year before, those 7 guys, we walked down that aisle for their marriage. And a year later, I'm carrying him in a casket. And I am devastated. I can't imagine the plans that Christelle and Ben had made. I think back of all the dumb stuff we did and probably were going to do that was never going to happen. I was crushed. I sat right there in that chair. I remember it. The casket's up front. I can't breathe. I can't talk. I can't move. How can this be? I just can't. I can't imagine that. And then Christelle stood up. And she spoke at her husband's funeral. And I'm sitting in that seat and I'm going, how can she do this? How can she move? How can she stand there and talk with strength and power and commitment about where Ben is going and has gone? How can she do that? Because I'm crushed. I can't move. And I took a breath, and I looked up and I said, I don't know what it is, but I want what she has. I can't move. And she's comforting us in this moment. She's comforting all of us. I said, whatever she's got, I want it. I need it because I have nothing right now. That started me on my faith's walk. Now, it wasn't a lightning bolt. It wasn't a boom, I know Jesus, but I knew that she had it and I wanted it. Whatever that was. And it was a path, and it still is. It didn't take any of my struggles away when I decided to commit my life to Jesus. But it did show me a way to be an evangelist every day. When I teach students, when I work with college students every day, my opportunity to be the light of God is what I do every single day. I think my wife, she became a Christian before me. It was a gentle process. She didn't push. She prayed. The power of prayer is great. I thank my church. I thank my pastor. We started to go to church. I cried every time I went. I kind of still cry every time I go. And what I came to realize is that I had a hole inside of me. There was a God-shaped hole that nothing, not one thing could fill. And once it was, the light went on. And I struggled with why, right? Always the why. We go back to the word. Romans 8:28 says, and we know that for those who love God, all things work together for good, for those who are called according to his purpose. I don't have all the answers, but I get to know the person who does someday, which is pretty great. So I was very excited that Aaron gave me an opportunity to call. As I finish up, I pray that my testimony today draws you closer to Christ, gives you inspiration to step out of the boat, and provides strength to your walk. Thank you.